YouTube, Shuriken here with a review of the Power Rangers Super Megaforce Ninja Zord with 2 Ranger keys. That's officially what it's called. But we had the 3 original Zords that came out when the show started, and unfortunately we only picked up 1 more, and it's actually pretty hard to find. I picked mine up from Walmart.com. But I did finally see one at my local Toys R Us store, so do check out Toys R Us's. Those seem to be the best place to find these. But keep an eye on Walmart.com and other online stores to try to pick this guy up. Now, instead of coming with a little Ranger figure, you get 2 Ranger keys instead of 1. The red Space Ranger and the red Ninja Storm Ranger with their logos flopped around. Because not only is this a Ninja Storm reference, they included a Mega Winger mode named Star Mode here. And that is our In Space reference for this. So it is actually pretty cool. They added a whole new mode. We'll see how that stacks up. Pretty cool artwork. The Ranger keys are right here. And the formations, as always, are on the back. So let's go ahead, pop this open, and take a look at the Ninja Zord. Alright, so let's take a look at the Ranger keys. Before we begin, they're really nothing new. They're just the Red Rangers. We've seen them before in the key packs. There are a few differences, however. Here is the In Space with the Ninja Zord with the one in the key pack. Cuff is smaller and the white stripe is placed a little bit differently. And of course it plays the same In Space sound that we all know by now. Whoopee! So here is him, and here is the red Ninja Storm Red Ranger key with the one in the key pack. Pretty much no different whatsoever. The helmet is painted a little bit differently. That is really about it. And of course, the sound in the morpher. Yippee! So that concludes that. Now let's take a look at the Ninja Zord. I really dig the Ninja Zord a lot, for all the wrong reasons, really. But I don't know, he just works for me. He could use a lot more paint. The pictures on the box show all of these stripes and everything painted, and obviously they're not in the final version, which is a little bit of a bummer. I think if he had the paint on his feet, he would look a lot better than he actually does. Same with a little bit of paint to the arms. So if you are a customizer, feel free to paint this guy up. I think with paint applications, he actually would be a very cool figure, and a lot of people's complaints would probably get washed away. Now, the star on the back, you can either position with the gold facing you or the gold facing back. Both methods plug in just fine. So whatever you want. The instructions show it like this. The box art shows it like this. I prefer it with the gold facing you just because it adds a little bit of color to him. Otherwise, he's just a silvery mess. But that is really about it for him. You can fold his arms back, or if you so wish, you can fold them close to his sides like this. Fold that piece down, and you have a vehicle mode, which very much resembles the Samurai Star Megazord in its helicopter mode, which is really cool. It's not really advertised correctly, so to speak. It's not like, oh, it's a vehicle mode, but it's still pretty cool. You can take the Ranger key and jab it in there, and you get the spinny effects, which is kind of cool. But it's something to do anyway, and I dig the fact that they included something like this, even though it's just putting the robot on his belly and turning it into a vehicle. But I digress. It's a cool throwback nonetheless. Now this also has a secondary feature in the fact that it is a Mega Winger reference. Not only is it a Minizord reference, it is a Mega Winger reference. And to get that, you simply raise these little panels up, and you can fold that down a little bit, and that will create the new head. It's not that great. I really don't like the new head because it looks like some sort of weird diver mask because of the pin that's right there. But what are you going to do? You take the star, the shuriken, and split it in 2. And then these ports right here, you just simply plug them right back here to create that. We're getting there. And then finally you take the back panel here, plug that right into his chest to give it the Mega Winger chest. And you have the star mode, as the box calls it, but we have a little miniature version of the Mega Winger. Now obviously it's very green because of what the color of the Furaimaru and Gokaiger was, but it's still kind of cool. I dig the fact that they added something to it, just like the little additions to the Lion and the Zeo Racer and various other things like the Turbo Falcon in particular. They added the Megazord mode. I like the fact that they can add little things to these toys to make them a little bit more worth your while. And while it's not perfect, it's a cool little throwback nonetheless, and I do like it a lot. Now, of course, this can combine with all the other Zord Builder things. There's Zord Builder ports all over this guy. You got two right here, attaching right here, and all that fun stuff. You got one kind of right there. So there's a lot going on this guy, but he does have compatibility directly with the Legendary Megazord and the Q Rex Megazord. So we'll go ahead and bring in our Q Rex Megazord and take a look at that formation first. Alright, so this one is very, very simple. All you're going to do is fold out these ports right here. Take the wings of the Mega Winger off. You don't need this panel piece, that was just additional pieces. And then you just slide them onto these Zord Builder ports right here. And they are a little bit of a different length, so you can toy around with what ports you're using. But there you go. You have the Mega Winger wings on the Q Rex Megazord. So nothing too nuts there. But there you go. To make these line up better, you can probably use the shorter post on that one. And that'll make those line up a little bit better. So pretty basic. Nothing too nuts there. But I watched Bruno's video, MMPR Toys, a while back. And they pointed out that the drill can come off. So you can actually take the star and put it on the drill. So he can have a star hand instead of a drill hand, which is kind of cool. So you can attach things there and make it spin, so that's always fun. But obviously, the main components of this guy are with the Legendary Megazord, so let's bring that in and take a look. Alright, so the main thing you're going to want to do is pop off the hat of the Legendary Megazord. We do need that off, and then of course, as always, swing that down. And you're good to go on him. Take the Ninja Zord or the Mega Winger Zord or whatever mode you have him in. And basically take all of his pieces apart. This piece right here is going to be the helmet. So fold that back down and that down. Swing this up and around. And you have the helmet for the Legendary Ninja Storm Megazord. Or Ninja Megazord. I don't remember what they actually call it. But this part is a little bit tricky. You gotta get this just right. You take the little piece here. And that's gonna peg in just like that. And then you take this piece and plug that over the black piece and plug that in. And you have the chest piece. And that will just plug right in there. Now these don't particularly have a specified way of going in. You could put them like this or like that. It doesn't really matter. I just prefer them to be just like the legs on the Ninja Zord. Just pegged in to the sub and the wheeler. Which can be easier said than done. There we go. Just like that. We'll pop the head in. Just like so. Make sure those are lined up. And you have the Legendary Ninja Storm Megazord, which is kind of cool. I really do dig it. You do have these star pieces for the shuriken that you can do multiple things with. The official combination has you popping off one of these leg pieces, and this is basically going to turn into a weapon, just like that. And you can have him hold on to this, and that can be a shuriken weapon. Some sort of weird staff with the shuriken on it or whatever. Or like just a pinwheel of doom. Gonna have him hold on like that. It's a pinwheel of doom. So that's the official combination. Of course, you now have this leg just kind of dangling out over here. So it doesn't work as fluidly as the Japanese version, but I do like the way that it looks. You got a lot of solidity going on here. The Furaimaru combination in Gokaiger just left a lot of hollowness, particularly in the chest area, and you don't have that here. Plus, I think the helmet actually looks a lot cooler with our version than with the Gokaiger version. So obviously you don't have the pop-out gimmick, you don't have the shurikens everywhere. He was like super shuriken. But it does have a lot of solidity to it that I really do appreciate, particularly in the head and chest area. That ends up looking pretty cool. Now, I think one of the most fun things about this combination is that there's a lot of different things that you could do with the star and these leg pieces. You can make two individual sort of half shuriken weapons. You can do something like that. You can just take that off and pop this back on. Both of the shuriken pieces have Zord Builder ports on them. So you can do things like you can put them up on top here. So you can have something like that and plug them up on top. You can take these off and plug them onto the sides of the Zords right here to create something like that, which looks pretty cool to me. I really dig that. So you can create all sorts of different positions for these star pieces to make it a little bit more symmetrical or a little bit more frightening. I actually really dig the way that this looks right here. This is probably my favorite formation like this, since the Japanese one did have the little tiny shurikens that came out of the Racer and Jet. It's kind of cool that you could sort of emulate that by placing the stars on the side here to give it a little bit of a shuriken look. So I really do dig this formation right here. This is probably my favorite. Now this also does have a Mega Winger component to this formation. What you're going to do is keep these star pieces separate again and use about the only ports I haven't put these on back on the arms. Take this piece off. Note it does plug into that black little port down there, so it is a little bit of a hassle to get off. And flip it around to make the Mega Winger chest piece appear. Flip this round. You're going to fold the arms sideways so that they fit comfortably in the space provided. And those can just sit back there. So you got the helmet going on. Flip this around back here. And you're going to want to position these the best you can using these ports right here. So have them placed just like that. Flip it around and you have the Legendary In Space Megazord, I guess is what they would call it. Legendary Megazord, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. There's no official name. But here we go. It's not that much different. You still got the leg pieces at the bottom. There's nothing you can really do about those. I guess you can place them somewhere else if you so wish. But it's got the chest piece. It's got the accurate helmet. So I really do like it. It's pretty cool. Again, not the greatest thing in the world. But again, the fact that it has a additional mode is really cool and adds a little bit of playability. It's a nice little flair that I really dig. So overall, I really like this guy, and it's definitely my favorite of the 4 Zords released for Super Megaforce. Now, I can see the complaints. It does lack a lot of paint detailings, especially compared to the pictures on the box, and that is quite a shame. I think if it was painted up fully, it would look really cool. I dig the fact that it's got all these different modes. It's got a mode that references the Samurai Star. It's got, of course, the mode that references the Minizord, and then it's got the all-new US exclusive mode that references the Mega Winger. And while it's a bit of a stretch, you go from Ninja Zord to Mega Winger, I like it. The fact that they added something to it is really cool, and it works. It's not the greatest, but given the components of the Zord, they pulled it off pretty well, and I do really like it. So for $14.95, or whatever your area wants to charge for these things. I think it's definitely worth it. If you're a fan of either of the two seasons in particular, it does really work. And just the fact that you can make two different Megazord combinations and the Zord Builder ports allow you to kind of create your own Legendary Ninja Storm Megazord that works for you. Just like I found mine, you can find yours too. I really do like it. So I definitely recommend this pickup. Again, it is hard to find, so keep an eye on your local Toys R Us stores or ToysRUs.com, Walmart.com, things like that. Because if you do manage to pick this guy up, I think you will be pleased. I really like him and my favorite of the Zords released for Super Megaforce. So thanks for watching, take care, and have a great one. Bye.